Welcome to Car Sales Talk 101, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is. Here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Car Sales Talk 101. I'm Terry Cameron. Thanks for hanging out with me again this week. Old school. That's what I want to talk about. Being old school. What exactly does that mean? This is episode number 180. And if I weren't old school, I probably wouldn't have gotten to episode 80 at all. So let's talk about it. When somebody calls me old school, and they call me that all the time, they refer to me as old school. And I guess sometimes I was a little bit offended by it, but not really. Now, what does old school mean when somebody refers to you as being old school, or if you refer to somebody else as being old school, or even if you think of yourself as being old school? Old school is people that do it like it used to be done, which they believe was a better way, and still do believe it's a better way. And I guess that's me. I am old school. You see, I'm seeing a trend in the car business, a change, if you will, about how car business is handled, how we're handling our business, at least on the fixed operations side or the variable operations side, on the sales floor and in finance. With the chip shortage, it's getting so hard to get new cars right now. And what that's doing is it's turning new car dealerships into used car dealerships. There's a local dealership that I worked with and I work for sometimes. They usually have about 100 to 120 new cars on their lot. And right now they have 4. But their lot is full. And that's because it's full of pre-owned cars. And there's nothing wrong with selling pre-owned cars. But you would think that if you went to a new car dealership, you'd be able to buy a new car. Not anymore. The other thing that I see what is happening is the fact that our sales process is falling by the wayside. I mean, we don't have to greet them. We don't have to do that presentation, that demonstration. We don't have to wow them. We don't have to do the proper close. We don't have to do any of that stuff because the customer's coming in knowing exactly what they want and knowing that they can't get the price that they'd like to have. They know they're going to pay a premium on both new and pre-owned cars, but they came in to buy the car. So what I see happening, and managers, general managers and dealers, I think you need to take this to heart and keep an eye out on it because it's going to change. The horse is going to drop eventually. We are seeing our salespeople, and I'm really not trying to put down any of our salespeople. I know how hard it is to earn a living as a salesperson, or at least how hard it is to learn a very good living as a salesperson. But what I see is our salespeople starting to skip the steps to the sale. Like I mentioned earlier, they're not greeting the customer properly. I guess, well, if they are going to stick to something in the process, that's the one thing they will do. They'll go out and greet the customer if for no other reason than to clear them in the CRM. So they're not skating another salesperson. But after that, the customer, for the most part, knows what they came in to purchase. They know what you have on lot. They did their shopping on the internet. I think right now the statistic is just over 1.6 dealerships a customer shops physically, which means they've actually been on the lot before they purchase the car. So if they're on your lot, they've already done their research. They've been online. They know what they want, and chances are they know what price it is. And if you're a dealership that's trying to compete with everybody else, your online pricing has got to be, in line with that. It's got to be very, very close to what everybody else is doing. So they came on the lot. They told you what car they wanted, and then we skip right to the numbers. We might even skip the demonstration. I see it every single day. I had a salesperson tell me recently, why do we have to open up the hood of the car? Well, I really didn't have that good of an answer for him because the way business is right now, people care less what's under the hood. But I still think it should be, the old school part of me thinks that should happen. They should open that hood. They should talk about some of the safety features. And if it's a truck, you should be able to talk to your customers about the horsepower and the torque and how it's going to help them in whatever reason they're purchasing the vehicle for. So those steps are being skipped. Now, we might still pitch them the keys and let them drive the car And some of us call that a demo. As a matter of fact, some of us managers go ahead and click that little radio button in our CRM that says the customer did demo only because they drove the car. But the old school side of me, the old school part of me says that's not a demo if the salesperson wasn't in the vehicle with them. How can you demonstrate a vehicle if you're not there? So we're skipping these processes. We're going right to the pencil. And as a matter of fact, we're really not even going out there with trying to close them on a particular payment. We're still closing them on their trade and the sales price of the vehicle. And there's not a whole lot of fighting. The customer doesn't fight back with you. They're not arguing. They're not going to object to the price because they know what's happening in the market right now. And all that does is turn our salespeople and heck, some of our managers into order takers. Again, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to say people are that we're not doing our job. I'm just saying that because business is easy. I think it's much easier to sell a car right now and especially make gross than it has been for years past. It's just so easy that what's going to happen when this horse drops, and it will drop, is we're going to let our good salespeople disappear. They're going to forget about it. Managers, you can't let them forget the process. GMs, dealers, you have to remember it's 100% of the process to 100% of the people, 100% of the time. And I agree, we don't need to do that all the time. We don't have to. But if we do it all the time, it just breeds a habit. And when the customers stop coming in because they know we don't have any other cars coming in, that's the only one that's available for them to buy. When we have to actually become salespeople again, we're going to be on the short end of the stick. They're going to need somebody, a salesperson that's going to go out there and show them the features. They're going to have to find a salesperson that's going to build some rapport, find out their hot buttons, sell the features, the advantage and benefit of that vehicle. They're going to need to feel comfortable with somebody, enough for them to hop in the car with them and go for a test drive and talk about all the things they're going to use the vehicle for. Yeah, they're going to have to be old school. Now, here's what the customer is really going to need, and this is what's going to happen, and hopefully we're prepared for it. When the horse drops and business gets back to normal, and it will get back to normal, we need new salespeople, or we need the old school salesperson being new again. I mean, how many times have you seen a brand new salesperson come on the floor with you and outsell everybody else, or most everybody else? At least sell a lot of cars. And then a few months down the road, they drop back down to the 6-8 car salesperson, and next thing you know, they're out of the car business. Because they were new, they did exactly what they were told. I think what we need to get back to is being new. Go out and greet the customer. Act like you're new. Excuse me. Treat them like you're new. They'll feel refreshed that they don't have to worry about somebody trying to take advantage of them, somebody trying to sell them. They'll even let you mess up a little bit if you let them know that you're still new. Hell, I was new for at least 8 months when I sold cars, at least until I couldn't sell new anymore. But my personality and my drive to succeed kept me doing the same things that I did from the very beginning that was successful. I wouldn't fall into the bad habits. As a matter of fact, I just solidified the good habits that I had, and I kept on selling cars. So if somebody calls you old school, find out exactly, or guess, or think about it. Why do they call you old school? Is that a bad thing, or is that a good thing? When they call me old school, I'm proud of it. I like to beat my chest and say, yeah, because the way we used to do it is still better than the way we're doing it right now. I still need to be fresh. I still need to know the new vehicles. I still need to keep up with the times, but I need to keep those old school habits and move them into the new school type of business that we're doing nowadays. So don't be offended. Go out there and do what you're supposed to do. And remember, be prepared for when the horse drops and people go back to where they need a salesperson to help them solve their problem. We're ready for it. And we're not just out there taking orders. So again, one more time, old school is the new school. Remember, stay new, stay fresh, and the sky's the limit. I'll see you in a few weeks.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please rate it and write a review on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate your valuable feedback. You can email Terry at 10minutesalestalk@hot.rr.com. And don't forget to share the show with a friend.